Debbie Rowe, Michael Jackson's ex-wife and mother of his first two children, has always shunned the spotlight despite her highly publicized union with the King of Pop in 1996, a whirlwind marriage that ended in divorce barely 3 years later. Did you know her only in-depth interview dates back to 2003? At the time, she responded to the controversial documentary Living with Michael Jackson. Yet much of her revelations never went public. What truly lay beneath this extraordinary relationship? Was it an authentic fairy tale or a strategic alliance blending money and visibility? Through her own rare but striking confessions, we uncover hidden facets of their story. The behind-the-scenes of their marriage, her relationship with the children, the troubling question of addiction, and even the legal battles over custody. Where is Debbie today? Has her perspective shifted after all these years? The answers lie hidden in the folds of a past we will unravel together. Their meeting in 1986 could have sprung from an improbable script. At the time, Debbie worked as an assistant in the office of dermatologist Arnold Klein, where Michael Jackson received treatment for his lupus and vitiligo. These illnesses, poorly understood by the public back then, isolated the artist. Rowe became far more than a medical aid. She listened to his worries, soothed his doubts, and gradually transformed appointments into confiding sessions. A strong friendship blossomed, nurtured by Michael's generous personality. He regularly sent her autographed gifts, records, photos, cherished memorabilia, which she proudly displayed in her office. Tanya Boyd, a close friend of Debbie's, later confided, she was madly in love with him. She kept saying, "If people knew him like I do, they'd see a unique man, eccentric, yes, but deeply kind." This bond endured even personal storms. While Debbie navigated a painful divorce from her first husband, Richard Edelman, a marriage that felt like prison, she would admit, Michael opened his heart about his own turmoil with Lisa Marie Presley. Their connection deepened through adversity. In 1993, when child abuse allegations erupted against Jackson, Rowe remained his rock, offering unwavering support. Yet when Michael married Presley in 1994, he meticulously concealed his friendship with Debbie. Lisa Marie, stumbling upon the relationship by chance, dismissed it with elitist disdain. In her view, Rowe, an ordinary woman with plain style, didn't fit Jackson's type. But the cracks in Pop's royal couple stemmed from more than that. At night, Michael often called Debbie, confessing his burning desire for fatherhood. A dream Lisa Marie, hesitant, continually deferred. "If you really want to be a father, I'll carry your child," Rowe repeatedly offered him. A lifeline for Jackson, torn between his love for Presley and his paternal instinct. Lisa Marie later admitted in a Playboy interview that she was fully aware of Debbie's feelings. She wanted him. She wanted his children. It hung over our marriage. The pressure became unbearable. Shortly after their highly publicized split in early 1996, a private tragedy unfolded. Debbie became pregnant but lost the baby in March. The pain was brutal. Michael, devastated himself, supported her tirelessly, far from cameras. Yet the story was far from over. As Jackson launched his monumental history tour that September, another bombshell struck. Debbie was pregnant again. This time, secrecy wouldn't hold. Tabloids exploded, announcing a pregnancy that would, for a time, seal the fate of two lonely souls united by a visceral need to love and be loved. Contrary to tabloid narratives, Debbie Rowe was furious at how media portrayed her relationship with Michael Jackson. She felt demonized, turned into a monster beside the star. Yet ironically, key elements of the coverage proved accurate. Not only was Jackson indeed raising their child alone, but conception had occurred via artificial insemination. Rowe eventually unveiled this medical secret with disarming bluntness. "They inseminated me. It's like how I inseminate my mares for breeding. It was very technical. I was his thoroughbred." This equine analogy from a former veterinary assistant spoke volumes about their pragmatic arrangement. Rumors of a financial pact spread like wildfire. Some saw a calculated transaction, material security for her, a shot at fatherhood for him. Jackson vehemently denied these speculations, calling the claims utterly false and irresponsible. Yet court documents later revealed a more nuanced truth. Records from his former manager, Myung Holly, detailed monthly $1.5 million transfers to Rowe, plus a lavish $1.3 million house gifted in 1997, an empty nest the couple never shared. The shockwave reached its peak when Katherine Jackson learned of the pregnancy. The matriarch, a fervent Jehovah's Witness, was horrified at the idea of an illegitimate grandchild. Her own marriage had been shaken by Joe Jackson's infidelities, whose adulterous daughter Giovanni remained an open wound in the family clan. Katherine took matters into her own hands, calling Debbie to fervently discuss the sacraments of marriage. Then she lectured Michael. "Marry this nice girl, give your child a name, don't repeat your father's mistakes." These words struck the artist to his core. The comparison to Joe, his childhood tormentor, was unbearable. Their initial agreement was shattering. What was supposed to be a simple surrogacy arrangement, a friendly gift in Rowe's words, collapsed under familial and media pressure. Panic-stricken, Jackson called Debbie while she was traveling in Australia. "Join me immediately." The moment she landed, he announced with cold determination, "We're getting married tomorrow." On November 15, 1996, in the presidential suite of Sydney's Sheraton on the Park, only 15 guests attended the bizarre ceremony. 8-year-old nephew Anthony Jackson clutched the wedding ring while Lisa Marie Presley, his barely divorced ex-wife, gave her recorded blessing by phone. No declaration of love, no passionate kiss, just a whispered, "I do," under the discreet flashes of photographers. The outside world greeted the announcement with brutal skepticism. Newspapers called it a marriage of convenience, a prenatal pact. Fans tore up posters, some screaming about conspiracies. "She's pregnant. It's a trap. My life is over." When a reporter asked if he was happy, Michael offered only an enigmatic smile before retreating into silence. Behind the scenes of this whirlwind union, the clock was already ticking. Debbie carried their first child, Prince, whose imminent birth would write a new chapter in this tragic yet fascinating saga. Facing mounting media pressure surrounding his marriage, Michael Jackson took the initiative to defend his relationship with Debbie Rowe. In a rare public statement, the artist emotionally shared, "Debbie and I love each other for all those invisible things, those moments you'll never see on stage or in photos. I fell for someone humble, generous, far from the spotlight, and she loved me simply for who I was." This touching confession contrasted sharply with the escalating media frenzy. February 13, 1997 marked a turning point. Michael and Debbie welcomed their first child, Michael Joseph Jackson Jr., at Los Angeles' Cedars-Sinai Medical Center. The nickname Prince honored a family tradition. Michael's grandfather and great-grandfather had both carried the name. Despite the apparent serenity of official photos, the delivery was fraught with anxiety. After the new parents cut the umbilical cord together, the newborn was rushed to intensive care with respiratory complications. 5 agonizing hours passed before doctors declared him out of danger. What followed revealed early cracks in the couple. While Michael took Prince to Neverland Ranch, Debbie chose to recover at a friend's home. 6 weeks passed before she saw her son again, during a heavily publicized meeting at a luxury hotel. A source close to the couple described a chilling scene. They handed her the baby like a prop, telling her to smile for photographers beside Michael. Once the shots were taken, she was asked to leave. Already, Debbie seemed emotionally withdrawn, fearing deeper attachment would make their inevitable separation more painful. At Neverland, Prince grew up surrounded by an impressive setup. 6 nannies and 6 nurses monitored him 24/7. A former employee later recalled, "Debbie? I saw her 3 times at most. She always seemed lost, absent from herself." Yet against all odds, November 1997 brought surprising news. Debbie was pregnant with their second child. The unborn girl would be named Paris, referencing the city where the couple claimed to have conceived her. But as the pregnancy progressed, another scandal hit the tabloids. Michael Jackson and ex-wife Lisa Marie Presley were photographed holding hands in London, then in South Africa, fueling rumors of rekindled romance. Their public embraces and joint appearances in Los Angeles spawned an explosive theory. Jackson was leading a double life, married to Debbie while planning secret nuptials with Presley in Johannesburg. When questioned, Debbie adopted a strangely detached stance. "Lisa doesn't threaten me. I trust Michael completely." Yet in the same interview, she revealed her turmoil. "Our friendship matters most. If this marriage jeopardizes it, I'm ready to walk away." On April 3, 1998, amid this tension, Paris Michael Catherine Jackson was born, a healthy blue-eyed girl. Michael later recounted a disturbing episode. Seized by sudden panic, he allegedly carried the placenta-covered newborn straight back to Neverland. Debbie Rowe would later correct this account, revealing the placenta had actually been cryogenically preserved, a macabre detail that fueled speculation about the star's practices. In the following days, a new sensational episode made headlines. Jackson's advisors contacted the Vatican, requesting Pope John Paul II himself to baptize Paris. The Holy See's response was scathing, an official letter refusing to participate in what they called a media stunt. This diplomatic failure alone epitomized the growing chasm between the king of pop's private life and his public excess, while Debbie, pregnant in the shadows, endured a pregnancy marked by physical and emotional trials. This rupture marked a painful turning point in Debbie Rowe's life. After medical complications left her unable to have more children, a deep sense of dissatisfaction settled into her marriage with Michael Jackson. Their initial arrangement, an almost chivalric pact where she had gifted him fatherhood, now seemed unbalanced. In October 1999, the iconic couple quietly divorced, with Jackson granting his ex-wife an $8 million settlement while securing sole custody of Prince and Paris. At the time, both parties implored the media to respect their privacy. The relentless speculation and intrusion into our private lives contributed to the collapse of our union, they stated in a poignant press release, while promising to preserve their friendship despite the end of their romance. A noble intention that would nonetheless shatter a decade later. On June 25, 2009, the sudden death of the King of Pop, struck down by cardiac arrest, thrust Debbie Rowe into the harsh media spotlight. As the world mourned its idol, venomous rumors began circulating about the Jackson children's origins. TMZ dropped a media bombshell. According to anonymous sources, Debbie had merely been a paid surrogate, with the actual gametes coming from an anonymous donor and, possibly even from dermatologist Arnold Klein, Rowe's former employer. Debbie's attorney Martha Omley immediately countered with rare vehemence. "These allegations are completely false, hurtful, and insidious. Mrs. Rowe is absolutely the biological mother of the two eldest children." Dr. Klein's spokesperson sidestepped the issue, citing doctor-patient confidentiality to avoid commenting on these outlandish theories. But the damage was done. The mercenary mother label now clung to Debbie like a second skin. This torrent of slander reached its peak during the high-profile 2013 trial. The Jackson family was then suing promoter AEG Live, accusing them of negligently hiring Dr. Conrad Murray, the physician convicted of involuntary manslaughter after administering the fatal dose of propofol. Debbie Rowe, a key witness, revealed heartbreaking aspects of their family life. It was then that the public discovered the devastating impact these turbulent years had on Paris Jackson. "I nearly lost my daughter," Debbie sobbed on the stand, disclosing that the teenager had attempted suicide during the trial. She felt she had no life left, a heart-wrenching admission that cast new light on the complex mother-daughter relationship. Miraculously, the two women had just reconnected before this tragedy, spending weekends together and gradually rebuilding their broken bond. Observers noted that while Debbie seemed closer to Paris than to Prince, her determination to protect her children remained absolute. Even when she described Jackson's final drug-addled days, consumed by medication and anxiety, chilling details that had clearly precipitated Paris's distress. The final verdict, clearing AEG Live, offered little consolation to this mother who had endured 15 years of tabloid hell. Yet through these trials, one truth emerged. Behind the sensational headlines and amplified scandals, Debbie Rowe continued her quiet battle to preserve what remained of her fractured family. An thankless role in the sprawling Jackson tragedy, but one she shouldered with uncommon resilience. Over the years, Debbie Rowe hasn't only spoken about her daughter Paris. She's also offered rarer glimpses into her relationship with son Prince. But unlike the bond she forged with Paris, her connection with Prince appeared less profound, less cultivated. When questioned about their relationship one day, Debbie was frank, almost blunt. "We don't hate each other, if that's what you mean," before adding candidly, "I'm closer to my daughter. Their public appearances together can be counted on one hand." For good reason. During Paris's early childhood, Debbie was a complete stranger to her. In a memorable Rolling Stone interview, Paris revealed this disturbing detail. As a child, she didn't even know her mother existed. "When I was little, my mother simply didn't exist in my world," she confessed. The realization came with age, when she understood a man couldn't have a child alone. Curious, she questioned her father, Michael Jackson. "I asked him, 'What's her name?' Paris recounted. "He just said, 'Debbie.' And I said, 'Okay, I know the name now.'" Yet she didn't dig deeper at the time. It was only after Michael Jackson's tragic death in 2009 that she searched for answers online. A digital quest to uncover who this woman, Debbie Rowe, truly was. Their reunion finally occurred when Paris was 13. But their relationship never took on the traditional form of a mother-daughter bond. "I've had many maternal figures in my life," Paris explained. "When my mother entered my daily life, it wasn't a mom relationship. It was more an adult relationship." The following years were marked by tensions over Paris's custody. In 2013, after the teenager's harrowing suicide attempt, Debbie stayed by her side, even relaying reassuring updates to fans via Twitter. "My daughter asked me to send a huge thank you for all your thoughts, prayers, and support," she wrote. "She is strong like her father." Debbie's anxiety grew so intense that she seriously considered seeking legal custody the following year. But according to those close to her, she abandoned the idea upon realizing Paris was safe with her grandmother, Katherine Jackson. Debbie wanted to do everything she could to help her daughter, a source clarified. But she understood Katherine was the ideal person to watch over her. This wasn't the first time Debbie Rowe had vacillated between asserting and relinquishing her role regarding her children. From Prince's birth in 1997, rumors swirled. She had allegedly accepted an $8 million financial agreement with annual $900,000 payments in exchange for surrendering her parental rights. After Michael's death, other sources cited negotiations for an additional $4 million to stay out of the custody battle, claims her representatives consistently denied. Ultimately, a compromise was reached weeks later between Debbie and the Jackson family, with no monetary transaction. But another scandal erupted when Debbie's private emails leaked to the press. In one, addressed to a friend, she reportedly wrote these chilling words, "Do I want the kids? Absolutely not." Before adding, with calculated cynicism, "Does it look good for me to ask for them? Absolutely." Romantically, Debbie surprised those around her years after her separation from Michael. Divorced in 1999 after 3 years of marriage. 5 years after the King of Pop's death, in 2014, she announced her engagement to Mark Schaffel. A choice that puzzled many, both for its timing and the profile of her fiancé. Schaffel, a former videographer at Neverland Ranch, had worked in the adult film industry before becoming a close collaborator and friend of Michael Jackson. "We're best friends," he told Entertainment Tonight after the engagement. "After Debbie and Michael split, I was the only person in their circle who could still talk to both. A closeness that had evidently evolved into something more." Debbie Rowe. Some sources even claimed Michael Jackson himself would have approved of their relationship, though this assertion drew skepticism. When their engagement went public, scrutiny turned to Mark Schaffel's murky past. Yet their history ran deep. Schaffel was among those thanked by Jackson in the credits of his 2001 album Invincible, proof of an old bond. But this friendship had frayed long before the pop icon's death. The breaking point? The revelation that Schaffel had directed adult films under the pseudonym Mark Frey in his youth. When questioned about this controversial past, he didn't evade. "It's no secret I worked in the adult industry. I hide nothing in my life," he stated with disarming frankness. Meanwhile, Debbie Rowe faced her own battle. The diagnosis fell like a guillotine blade: breast cancer. The woman who had supported her daughter Paris through her darkest hours would now lean on her. In July 2016, During an Emotional Entertainment Tonight interview, Debbie revealed her fight against the disease. She had just undergone tumor removal and begun chemotherapy. Weeks earlier, Paris had shared a poignant photo on social media, the young woman tenderly kissing her mother's shaved head, a visible marker of chemo sessions. "Paris is my rock," Debbie confessed, her voice thick with emotion. "When she heard the news, she called me in 30 seconds. 'You okay, Mom?' 'Yeah, I got this,' I said. And she told me, 'I know you'll beat this.'" In a defiant gesture against her illness, Debbie took control by shaving her head before chemotherapy could claim her hair. She adopted a blonde wig nicknamed Ursula, transforming her struggle into a statement of resilience. "Cancer tries to steal your femininity, but under this wig, I'm still me," she explained with quiet strength. "Still a woman, still human." This cruel ordeal paradoxically ended up strengthening family ties. Even her son, Prince Michael, became her public voice, sharing updates on her treatment progress. January 2017 marked a turning point. Debbie victoriously completed her chemotherapy. 2 years later, in 2019, she confirmed the good news herself. "I'm doing well for now. I'm still in remission." The transformation is striking. Far from Hollywood's spotlight, she chose a peaceful life in harmony with nature. Today, Debbie Rowe manages Painted Desert Ranch, an equestrian haven nestled in the wilderness between Palmdale and Lancaster. This California ranch, just an hour from Paris's Hollywood residence, becomes the setting for their regular reunions. "Paris often comes to visit me here," Debbie shares proudly. She's dedicated to her music and truly thriving. During an intimate 2019 concert at the Mint, Debbie showed unwavering support for her daughter and her partner Gabriel Glenn, with whom Paris forms the duo The Soundflowers. "He's a lovely boy," she remarked after watching them perform. That evening, even Chris Brown could be spotted in the audience cheering on the young artists. The path Debbie Rowe has traveled commands admiration. From the trials of cancer to serene sunrises on her ranch, and from sharing the limelight with the planet's biggest star. A life in 3 acts where, as she likes to remind us, she never stopped fighting. Today, Debbie Rowe lives a serene existence far from the glare of fame, surrounded by her ranch's vast landscapes. Imagine sun-drenched mornings where the only sound piercing the silence is horses neighing, or afternoons spent wandering trails lined with eucalyptus trees. This tranquil retreat contrasts sharply with the tumultuous years when her name was linked to one of the world's most famous families. Yet despite this reclaimed peace, she remains an essential link in the complex history of Michael Jackson's legacy. Many wonder how a woman living such a discreet life could have crossed paths with the king of pop. Her role, often downplayed, takes on special significance when considering the unique bond she forged with Paris and Prince Michael. After their father's tragic death in 2009, Debbie remained a quiet but constant presence in their lives. Away from cameras, she reportedly served as a confidant, offering the children a tangible connection to their family roots. Some biographers even mention years of exchanged letters, words that may have helped the young Jacksons navigate their monumental heritage and personal identity. What fascinates is the paradox of her journey. Having helped bring globally known figures into the world while choosing to step back voluntarily. In the 90s, as Michael Jackson dominated charts and tabloids, Debbie, then a dermatological assistant, already lived on the fringes of the media circus. A choice that eerily echoes the singer's own struggle to protect his children's privacy. Did she unconsciously perpetuate this philosophy by maintaining a relationship with them shielded from public view? Her ranch, nestled in California's hills, may symbolize this quest for balance. Between horseback rides, one might picture her flipping through old photo albums or reflecting on the weight of the history she helps carry. For beyond wooden fences and fields of wild grasses lies a discreet guardian of precious memories. Without ever seeking acclaim, she has unwittingly become a bridge between two worlds, Michael's immortal legend and his heirs' real lives. And you, how do you interpret Debbie Rowe's choices? Do you believe her subtle influence on Paris and Prince Michael has shaped how they honor their father's legacy? Share your theories below. Every perspective enriches this human puzzle. If these behind-the-legend stories captivate you, a like to support our channel and a subscription to never miss future episodes would be deeply appreciated. The next chapter awaits right here, so see you soon for new revelations.